Welcome back to the Thrive 45 Method podcast with me, your host, nutritionist Stacey Nicole Smith. And this is the space where we talk all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. Now, let's get started with today's episode. Hey guys, all right, this is for you today. If you are a woman over the age of 40, or you're going through the hormonal changes of perimenopause and menopause, you're doing everything you can to lose weight and your weight is not budging and you cannot figure it out, there very well could be due to a food that a lot of people think is really healthy and a lot of women are eating every single day thinking it's helping you, and it actually could really be working against you. And guess what? You're not going to like it, but that food is dairy. And before I forget, I put together a perfect dairy-free high-protein breakfast recipe for you guys that is ideal and perfect for weight loss in peri and menopause. If you want the recipe, I will send it to you for free. Just comment protein. I'll get that out of the way before I forget. Comment protein and I'll send that to you. So I hear this a lot. And one of the things that I see online, and you obviously are seeing it online too, is everywhere you see these amazing looking recipes. Like they look so good, and I think they look good too. And I go to look at them. What are the ingredients? Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. And I'm like, no. So there's a lot of misconceptions about dairy. People say it's good. Oh, it's high protein. We've got our cottage cheese recipe. It's high protein, low fat, low fat. Like, we're really going to get into this today. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, everybody should do what they want to do. But I think everyone should do it with an informed decision, make an informed decision. So I'm going to give you some information about dairy and how it might be affecting you and your weight loss goals. And especially as women experiencing the hormonal changes of perimenopause and menopause. So as we're going through these changes, fluctuating estrogen and progesterone, and then they're dropping down, our bodies become more sensitive to stress and more sensitive to inflammation. So if we have a little more inflammation at this time, there is a food that very well could be contributing and making this inflammation worse, and that food is dairy. Now, why is this a bad thing? Well, number one, with inflammation, you can feel it in your body, but we're talking about weight loss. With an increase in inflammation, we can also experience an increase in insulin resistance. This simply means that our body is more likely to store our food as fat than burn it off as fuel. So when we're eating dairy thinking it's healthy because it's high protein, we could in fact be contributing to more inflammation. Contributing to more inflammation could be making insulin resistance worse. Making insulin resistance worse means our body's more likely to store fat. So the very thing you think you're doing that's healthy, eating all this dairy, can be working against you. Now, another thing I want to mention is that you may or may not know, I don't know how long you've been in my world, but for 10 years in Toronto, I owned a wellness clinic. And this is hopefully going to open your eyes a little bit when I tell you this. When I had that wellness clinic over the course of 10 years, I had thousands of clients, literally a very high volume of clients over the course of 10 years. And they had different issues. Some were there for weight loss, but others had very chronic conditions. Some of these clients who had the financial means to do so, who were not getting answers in Canada, would go to clinics outside the country, like top specialists in places like Germany, Sweden or Switzerland, different places in the US, and they would see top specialists in these areas. Now, a lot of these clients had different, maybe they were autoimmune conditions, maybe they had the C word, I don't know what I can say, but different conditions that they couldn't get answers for in Canada. So they go to these top clinics, top specialists all over the world on the cutting edge of stuff, right? So they would go see them and then they would come back, and I was part of their plan, and I was, helping them with their nutrition piece of it. I am not a doctor, I am a nutritionist, but I could help them with that piece of the pie, right? So they would go see these top specialists and come back and tell me what they were telling them and what they were recommending to do and to not to do. What I found very interesting is obviously there was different protocols for different people dealing with different things and their bodies are different. However, one thing that was consistent across the board with every client that I had that went to these different specialists in different clinics and hospitals and all these kinds of things around the world is they all told them to get off of dairy. So to me, that says something, right? And people will come at me because of like, I feel fine, when I eat it. But actually, here's the thing I want to say real quick too, before I forget. If sometimes our baseline is feeling mediocre, but we felt mediocre for so long that we think we feel fine because that's our normal. Then when we do things to make ourselves feel better, you're like, wow, I didn't realize I wasn't feeling great because that's all I knew. And then you start to feel amazing, and then that becomes your new baseline. So what I would encourage any single person to do, you can doubt me, I don't care, really. Do what you feel is best for you. But for those who want the help and you're open, what I would encourage you to do is don't even take my word for it. Do a personal experiment and give up dairy yourself for 100% for minimum 2 weeks, 100%. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I don't really have a lot of dairy. Listen, I hear this every day of my life. I don't really have a lot of dairy, so I don't think it affects me. And a lot of people say that because they don't drink glasses of milk or eat ice cream. But I can almost assure you that if you did this consciously, very, 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 very mindfully, and you said, you know what, Stacey, I'm up for the challenge. I'm going to take you up on it, even if it's to prove me wrong. I'm up for the challenge, and I'm going to eliminate dairy completely, 100%, no exceptions for 2 weeks minimum. And you got to look at every single label of everything you're eating. You got to pay attention to every meal that you have at a restaurant. Is there cheese hidden in it? Is there cream hidden in it? And I think you'll find that you're probably having dairy more than you think you are. But eliminate it completely for 2 weeks and see how you feel. Because a lot of other people will say, well, I don't have major bloating or digestive discomfort every time I eat dairy, so I must be fine. Meaning, okay, you're not lactose intolerant. But what's really going on under the surface, right? And so you don't know until you fully eliminate. So I would challenge you to that. So let me know if you're up for that challenge. And if you're stuck with weight loss, I would highly, highly encourage you to eliminate dairy and see what works, because at this age, with the hormonal fluctuations of perimenopause, what we have here is not a calorie problem. We have a hormone communication problem. So we just want to get to the root of the issue and make sure that those hormones are firing properly on all cylinders. And so what we want to do is we want to remove any resistance to that happening. And dairy, in fact, for many people can be one of these. So dairy could be going in there and creating a lot of inflammation. You may not even feel it because you might think you feel fine. But again, is that your baseline? Do you want to feel fine or do you want to feel amazing? So it is that dairy that, even if it's a little bit, creating more inflammation, because there's other things creating it too, right? So why just add to it if you don't have to? Take it away, see how you feel. When we can decrease the inflammation, our bodies can become a little more sensitive to that insulin, which means they're less likely to store food as fat and more likely to burn it off as fuel. Now, obviously, this is one piece of the puzzle. There's more, but you've got to start somewhere. And just because even if you can't do everything right now, that's okay. At least do something. And then when you get comfortable with one thing, then you add in another thing and so on. So this one I would encourage you. Now, the other thing is, even if you're not, like I just said, having crazy digestive discomfort from having dairy, and again, you're thinking, oh, I don't have any problems with it because I feel fine. Well, how is it really impacting your gut health? Because our gut health is everything. It runs the show. Everything stems from gut health. And if it's affecting your gut health in any way, shape, or form, our gut health highly impacts our hormonal system. So that's another thing that I would encourage you to do. Now, you may say, well, I really like dairy. I don't want to get rid of it forever. Nobody has to do anything forever. But what I would encourage you, if weight loss is one of your goals, and I would encourage you, like, what's more important? Is having cheese more important to you, or having your ideal body and feeling amazing more important to you, right? Like, it's a personal choice. Nobody can make the decision for you. But if you are looking for answers, I would start with there. And get rid of it entirely for 2 weeks to see how you feel. But then you want to kind of keep it out of your system until you get to your goal. Now, once you get to your goal weight, it's different. Then we move more into like a maintenance thing. So the first part is not about having decreasing your calories and being restrictive and doing crazy workouts. It's not about that at all. It's about doing the things to get your signaling properly. And one of these is getting rid of the dairy. When you've got everything signaling properly and your body's burning off your food as fuel, it's released the stored fat, you're feeling amazing, your digestion's amazing, bloating's gone, then you want to go into more of like a maintenance. And what that means is if you really love cheese or dairy or whatever, have it a little bit, add it in, because now you've gotten your system so strong that it can handle it a little bit. So I always say use dairy more as like a condiment size. So it's okay to have it once you've got your body all set up and everything's revved up high. Then have it a little bit in a condiment size. It's not really going to affect you that much. But the problem I see online is everybody's having a Greek yogurt bowl for breakfast, cottage cheese, muffins for lunch, cheese, keto this for dinner, and they're thinking it's healthy. And I'm just watching it like, what the heck are people doing? You can't have like a piece of steak and a glob of cheese on top of it and call it healthy because it's keto. Like, come on. So enough of the nonsense. So I encourage you to do that. Now, here's the thing too with dairy. Just because you can't build your metabolism on it doesn't mean you can't add it in later. Again, in the form of like a condiment size. The same thing as you can have anything in a condiment size after you build your foundation real strong. And that way nothing's off limits and it's easier to stick to as well. But we got to take care of the foundation first and make sure it's firing on all cylinders. And to do that, we do have to be a little more tight in that process. But when you follow it, and it's not tight by not eating enough, you're eating plenty, but it's about eating plenty of the right foods that are going to fuel your body properly. So they're going to work for your body, not against it, which dairy can be one of those things working against it. So again, let me know if you're up for the 2-week challenge to get rid of dairy completely and see how you feel. I'd love to hear your results. And second, if you want the perfect dairy-free, high-protein breakfast recipe that is designed for fat loss and peri and menopause, because you've got to start your day off right, just comment below the word protein, or you can send me a private DM with the word protein. Either way works, and I will be happy to send that to you for free. Anyway, I hope you find that helpful. Sorry to be a bit of a buzzkill because I know people love dairy, especially cheese. But I'm just keeping it real with you. And if you really want results, this might be that hidden food that you're having every day thinking it's healthy, and you're confused why you can't lose weight because you think you're doing everything healthy, but that very thing could be working against you. So I hope you find that helpful. Comment protein if you want the recipe, and have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you found this episode helpful. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Episodes like this are released weekly for all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. And for other ways I can help you, please be sure to visit the show notes or visit my bio. Thanks for listening. Bye.